Jesse, come here, sit down with Daddy, baby. Come on. All right, guys, we're getting an early start tonight. Welcome in to our Friday night scoreboard show. Appreciate everybody checking in as always. I'm sure once these games wrap up, we'll have more and more of you guys filing in and joining us here on our Friday night scoreboard show. It's our Friday night soiree. Well, we're going to be with you until midnight tonight, recapping all the games from around the state. And again, I'm going to let somebody check me, make sure you can hear me, make sure you can see me okay. Let's get on my end. So if you are new to the show, hey, Abby Pearson, what's going on? Panthers win. So, Abby, well, where are you checking out the show from, Abby? You're a Clinch County fan. Panthers win. Clinch County wins 6-0. Um, who was that against, by the way? Was that Brooks? Thank you, Abby. Appreciate that. You guys, again, appreciate y'all checking me here. Mike checking me, camera checking me. Abby, where was that game? And I'm assuming that's Clinch and Brooks County. Was that in Quitman? Thanks, Alan. Alan Clanton checking in. I know I talked to my buddy Evan Reese up in Roswell, Georgia, North Atlanta, checking in. I know Roswell had a big win tonight. Alan, thanks so much, man, for feeding me these scores all day or all evening. I appreciate that. So, in case you guys are joining us, for those of you maybe interested in some scores, like Colquitt is over Tiff County. Uh, the last we had on that was 39-20 Packers over Tiff County at MacTharp. Valdosta, I'm a little surprised at this one. Not that Valdosta won. I had picked Valdosta to win. By the way, Phil's pick six. I've been pretty red hot the last couple of weeks. We'll see how I do tonight. Now, I did pick Valdosta 28-14. If that score holds up, 27-0. I'll get Valdosta's score pretty much right on the money. But I thought Richmond Hill would score. Um, this Valdosta defense must be lights out. Abby Pearson says Brooks, no score until 3 minutes left. Wow. And that's right. Alan Clanton told me about that. That was on the blocked field goal and 95-yard return. Unbelievable. Incredible. What a way to end the football game. Well, I'm assuming it's over. Jamie Fraley Seeger, I don't know, Jamie, if you are in the house yet or not. I'm getting an early start, so we're still about 5 minutes away from our original start time, but I wanted to go ahead and get a jump on this. Jamie Fraley Seeger is over in Kingsland, Camden County, where I understand it has been an absolute monsoon over there, raining the whole game. It was that way Sumter. Alan Clanton said it was officially 85 yards. That who and Alan, I appreciate you getting me that player's name. He'll make our ITG Next Top Performers list this week on the under the special teams category. There's Jamie Fraley Seeger. Jamie, what's going on? Jamie, rain is it still coming down in sheets in Kingsland? Lowndes 35 Camden. Is that final? So 35-14. My prediction, my pick six was 42-14. So I had picked Lowndes to win it 42-14. They're going to win it 35-14 if that is the final. So I got it pretty close. Pretty close. Guys, my crystal ball has been spotless these last 3 weeks, let me tell you. Brad King's checking in. Brad, what's going on? Fitzgerald Purple Hurricane 17-14. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Oh boy. Now this looks like it may be some hangover from last week for the Thomasville Bulldogs. Severe Weather Chaser checking in. What's up, brother? Clinch beats Brooks 6-0. Jamie Fraley Seeger says it's raining in downtown St. Mary's. 4 minutes left. I got you. Wow. Alan Clanton. Fred Causey is the one who blocked it, but Tyreek Posley returned it. I'll have to give them both co-top performers in that one. How about that? Fred Causey and Tyreek Posley blocking the field goal. So it was Fred Posley who blocked the field goal for Clinch County, and Tyreek Posley picked it up and ran it back 85 yards. That is going to be your game winner. Incredible. Brad King, Fitzgerald Purple Hurricane 17-14. Now this is a shocker, and I understand the game's not over. And boy, we learned last week you never say the game's over anyway with Thomasville, right? How many lead changes did we have in that thing last week, right? 41-40, game goes into overtime. All right, again, if you're joining us, we are a little early. Michael Lotta checking in from Gainesville. What's up, Mike? Gainesville crushes Milton. Incredible. Unbelievable. Has Milton's run come to an end? Guys, do y'all understand how big this win is for Gainesville? I mean, do y'all really understand how big it is for Gainesville? Look, I talked about it last week here on the show. Josh Niblett, look, he was brought to Gainesville from Hoover, Alabama. He was brought to Gainesville to win championships, not to win 9 games, not to necessarily win a region championship, although that's your first step. But he was brought in to take Gainesville to a state championship. Now he took them to the state championship game in the first season he was there. They lost to Lynx News by a touchdown. But now, last year, remember, they get put out in the first round by Sequoia. And this year, I've been playing so-so. Well, I got to be honest with you. This is a major, major win. And I do understand that it's, still what, only 3 games left. Sharika Crawford, quit playing with us. We in there. Sharika, what are you talking about? What team are you talking about? I don't know what team you're talking about, but all I know is that that's a huge win for Gainesville. Unbelievable. What a big win. I got to be honest with you. I didn't see it coming. Look, I've been bragging on Milton all season long. They've been getting it done with not one, not two, third string quarterback. They've been bouncing back and forth ever since Derek Baker went out in the Buford game with that hand injury. That's a huge win for Gainesville. But yes, I agree. Milton is still in. Look, I told you guys this was going to be the year of the repeat. And I'm not backing off of that. But nevertheless, that's a big win. Tremendous win tonight for Gainesville. Michael Lotta. I'm actually checking in for Montgomery tonight, Phil. But go ahead. So you're over in Montgomery, Alabama. Man, I hope you weren't around that big mass shooting they had. I know that was last week, but. And Michael, what are you doing in Gainesville? I'm sorry, in Montgomery. Johnny Holcomb, what's up, Johnny? Johnny Holcomb checking in from Valdosta Wildcats, 34-0 start of the fourth quarter. Johnny, I know that you've got to be excited. Listen, everybody's kind of talking about it all week. The worst thing that could have happened for Richmond Hill was for Valdosta to lose last week against Colquitt. This is a great rebound win for Valdosta. Big time rebound win for the Cats. Look, Valdosta has just reestablished itself as the dominant team at the top of the region. No doubt about it. Somebody asked me last week, when Valdosta lost, somebody said, hey, you still think Valdosta is the the talk of the region or whatever they said? And I said, yes, I do, despite the loss, because they really shot themselves in the foot last week. Well, tonight, especially, I understand they had two pick sixes. They came out and really flexed their muscle tonight. Defensively, they get it done. And I'm going to tell you, this was a good Richmond Hill team who came into this game tied at the top of the region with Lowndes. So now Lowndes getting the win tonight. That's going to put Lowndes up at all alone at the top of the region at 3-0, if I'm not mistaken. You're going to have Richmond Hill now at 2-1, Valdosta 2-1. I think Colquitt 2-1, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody fact check me on that. Not exactly sure. Michael says I'm visiting family. I got you, brother. I'm being nosy, ain't I? Just being a little nosy. Get the light down a little bit, man. That light's killing me. By the way, let's see if y'all can check this out. Big props to Coach Kareem Reed at McEachern. Sent me the McEachern swag this week. Sent me the McEachern hat. Sent me this nice McEachern pullover. The Nike pullover. It's got the little hood on the back. And I'm going to tell you, he sent me a nice McEachern blue short sleeve shirt too. So thank you, Kareem Reed. Thank you so much. Jeremy Edwards from Houston County also sent me some swag. I love to wear these different teams' colors and shirts and love it. I love to go around town with these shirts, these different clothes on, shirts on, and represent all these teams from around the state. I absolutely love it. I am so blessed to have people sending me this stuff. I'm blessed to have you guys checking out the show tonight. I am Phil Jones. ITG Next, our Friday night scoreboard show. Thank you guys so much for checking out the show. Abby Pearson says, I need the Cats. We're going to get revenge tonight. LOL. Yeah, I hear you. It was just good. James Raymer, Carver Columbus 8-7 over Sumter final. Incredible. Statesboro 28-21 over Brunswick. James Raymer, thank you for those scores. Guys, oh my Lord, what happened in the Carver game? I know this thing was 2-0. I know there was a driving rainstorm tonight in Sumter. And by the way, let me just say this. I know this is a loss for Sumter, but this is a good loss, if there is such a thing. And yes, there is such a thing. Look, last year these two teams got together. Everybody thought that it was going to be a close game, and it turned out not to be. Okay. So this is a big game. Yes, it was a loss, but this is not a bad loss for Sumter County. Okay. They're going to get into the state playoffs. Listen, if you can play and almost beat Carver, you've cemented yourself as a pretty good team, guys. Because I think Carver can beat anybody in the state. I've said it before, I'll say it again. And so if you got Sumter playing right toe to toe with Carver Columbus, then you should be proud. So guys, if you're a Carver fan, do not be dismayed by this loss. Wetting my whistle with a little bit of soda tonight. Check this out. A little Coca-Cola. The Mexican Coca-Cola, by the way. Man, that's good. Andrew Watkins, yeah, man, we're for sure, man. Wild ending, clinched 6-0 over Brooks. So they had two blocked field goals. Wait a minute. Yeah, two blocked field goals and a touchdown. Okay, so there was two blocked field goals. Did not know that. Andrew, I know my man Alan Clanton got me the player's name who blocked the field goal that was returned for a touchdown. Alan, listen, if you can, I have not had a chance to write those players' names down. Please write those down. Please make sure that you keep those handy for me because I'll be asking you later when I start to put together my top performers list. I really appreciate that. Alan Clanton is a huge, sometimes he's a huge headache. No, I'm just kidding. We trade some jabs every now and then, but he's really keeps me up to speed on what's happening around the state every Friday. We exchange scores and stories and everything. Juancimo Villalobos, what's going on, my brother? 21-9 Gainesville. 7:20 left in the game. Okay, so it's not over. Milton has the ball. Wow, what? How about if? What do you want to bet Milton's going to make a late surge here? 21-9. If they score 21-15, 21-16, they no need to go for two. Um, 9, 8, 17. It's not going to be any good. By the way, in case you missed it last week, I hate to go for two. I hate when teams go for two. Okay, it's such a low percentage play. Just take the points, get the points, unless you're in a position to absolutely positively go for two. Okay. Alan Clanton, yeah, losing is never good, but there's such thing as a good loss and a bad win. Yeah, so Alan, that's what I'm saying, man. This loss to Carver Columbus by Sumter, okay, that is a good loss. And I know coaches will say, "Oh, there's no such thing as a moral victory," or yes, there is too. Yes, there is, because morale means everything. It means everything. So yes, there is a such thing as there is such thing as a good loss. There is such a thing. It just means a lot for morale. I'm a big believer in that. Jamie Fraley Seeger, what's up, Jamie? Final Lowndes 35-14 Camden, 35-14 over Camden. Winds gusting and still pouring rain on the coast. Jamie Fraley Seeger over there at the Golden Isles, or close to it, right, Jamie? Or is that Brunswick, St. Simons, they refer to as the Golden Isles? Andrew Watkins, and in the Good Life City, Monroe falls to Cairo, 21-7 last checked. What's up, Hunter Gorino? I hope I said that. I hope I said that right. Okay, Hunter Gorino. Phil, give us your final four for 6A. So I know my man Darius Kirksey was helping me out with this last week. We talked a little bit about it. I want to make sure that I've got the bracket lined up correctly, because I want to make sure that I tell you the four teams that will be able to line up for the semifinals. So Hunter, right now I would say, okay, without checking the brackets, I would say my top four teams right now would be Buford, Grayson. It's tough. It's tough. Buford and Grayson for sure. You know, if Valdosta can quit from making the dumb mistakes, and they do it every year, I'm not. I'm not taking a shot. I'm not. It's just because I think Valdosta got the team. I think they have the team to do it. So I just don't know, man. Like I said, I need to look at the brackets and see how things would work out. But right now, I would say Grayson, Buford, hard to pick against Carrollton. And guys, we know Valdosta the last 2 years. Carrollton has been Valdosta's Waterloo. Okay. I mean, that game last year, the game was over in second quarter for all intents and purposes. Jamie Fraley Seeger says Brunswick is the Golden Isles. That's what I thought. Okay, yeah, I got you. Ebony Moore, Ebony Ivory, Ebony Moore says final worth 54-16 over Berrien tonight. 54-16 worth. Okay, guys, I got to ask y'all a question and be honest with me. So last week, we adopted a new ranking format. Okay. We adopted a new ranking format where we're doing an overall, all classifications, top 25 now. We had been doing our top 10 for every classification, and to be honest with you, it's very time consuming. I mean, I wind up working all weekend. After I do this show on Friday night, I wind up working all day Saturday, all day Sunday. I don't really mind working, but just we thought the all classifications top 25 may get better engagement. And so far in week one, it happened. I'm getting back to your comments in just a second. Milton did score. I'm telling you, watch out. Watch out. Milton, wow. We kind of gave them their demise a little too early, it looks like. So Milton scores, James Reimer. James Reimer, thank you for the update. Milton scores 21-16, Gainesville, 6:21 left in the game. Wow. Wow. Andrew Watkins, Deerfield, Windsor, and Sherwood Christian Academy both go unbeaten tonight. Yep, they're Deerfield, Windsor's very good. I've been talking to Coach. He and I talk a lot via text exchange after the last few games. Good Jake McCray. Good man. Good man. Good coach. Great coach. Done a great job. Led them to a state championship last year. Uh, yeah. So Andrew tells us, easier for me to say. Cairo 21-7 over Monroe in the Good Life City. I'm assuming that's at Hugh Mills. Wow, keep me up to speed on this. I'm interested in this Milton Gainesville game. Very interested in this one. Very interested in this one. By the way, Dawson Davis, big game for Cook tonight. Cook goes up to Reidsville, Georgia, home of the Reidsville State Prison. And Cook gets the big win up there. Hey, Phil, Brooks clinch game was nothing to nothing until 2 minutes left in the game, says Justin Fletcher. Yep. And Clinch blocked our field goal, returned it for a touchdown. Heck of a game. Okay, Gabe Garrett says Gainesville just scored. Wow. So Milton had scored to bring it 21-16. Now Gainesville goes back up 28-16. Gabe Garrett and Juancimo Villalobos keeping me up to speed on the Gainesville Milton game, guys. Thank y'all so much. 28-16. I got a feeling though, this thing is far from over. You still got 5:57 left. That's an eternity. You hit a couple of long bombs. Had a history teacher in high school who used to say bums instead of bombs. And she would say, Germany has dropped more and more bums on the Jewish capital, blah, blah, blah. And I would say, well, Miss Click, I have a question. Why is Germany dropping perfectly good men who just happen to be down on their luck out of planes? And she said, well, what do you mean, Phil? I said, well, you said that they're dropping bums out of the airplane. If you get it, you get it. Bums, bombs. Anyway, just a little humor. Humor me, guys, on this Friday. Michael Sorensen. Mike, what's up, buddy? Mike Sorensen, Gainesville just scored 28-16. Oh, yep, getting an update on that one. Abby Pearson, don't count Milton out to the buzzer. You're absolutely right. Like I said, I think that game's far from over. 28-16. I expect Milton to come back and score again. Alan Clanton says, somebody please tell me why on earth you would pass the ball with under 2 minutes left in the game up by 14. Man, why would you do that? Mike, Alan, who did that? Claudia Noel Maine. What's going on, Claudia? I've been looking for you. Good to see you in the house, Claudia. Hey, how about them, Lowndes Vikings? And hey, very safe travels going back to Lowndes County, Georgia, you guys. I love you, miss you guys like absolute heck. And I'm not kidding or joking. I know you're not. Congratulations, you guys, and congratulations, Vikings. So, Claudia, you be careful if you're on your way back. I know my buddy LG, Larry Godwin, made the trip over to Camden County tonight. So, Larry, if you're able to hear me, I don't know if you're checked in yet, but you guys be careful coming back. But Alan, who was that man that's passing under 2 minutes left, and you're up? No, you're right, Alan. That makes no sense. A couple of reasons why. Okay, number one, you risk throwing an interception. Number two, you risk the ball being dropped. And if the ball's dropped, guess what happens? The clock stops. So the thing to do is to keep running the football. That makes the other team burn timeouts. And you're going to control the clock and keep the clock moving. That's what drove me crazy in that Super Bowl with the Kyle Shanahan. Oh my gosh, unforgivable stuff. He keeps throwing the football, and the Falcons have this huge lead. He drops Matt Ryan back to pass, and he takes us out of field goal range when he gets sacked. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it, Alan. And you bring up a good point. Alan Clanton, exactly what happened? A pick six. What? Alan, what game are you talking? Where did that happen at, Alan? Bring me up to speed, man. What's going on? Chris versus Appling. 29-27 at the Cougar end in the fourth. Okay, so I know that Appling was winning this game. Andrew, are you saying that Crisp has now got back on top? Okay, I was talking about Lanier County. I got you. Andrew, or is Crisp leading Appling? I know Appling was well ahead in that game. So Appling was up in that game. Wasn't they up 22-0? Jacob Carlton, I'm driving back from clinch game now. Be careful, buddy. Thanks for checking in, Jacob. Jacob, I like to read your stuff, man. Good stuff, buddy. I really enjoy reading your stuff. I can't remember which company you work for, but I enjoy reading your stuff, man. Andrew Watkins. Yeah, says Andrew. 20. That game was 22-0. Crisp was trailing. Johnny Holcomb says Valdosta Wildcats 41-0 final. I'm going to tell you something. Listen to me, guys. Okay. Richmond Hill was all the rage. Well deserved. Luke Bush is calling me. Luke, somebody tell Luke that I'm doing this live podcast. All right. So Valdosta, listen, all the talk this past week was about Richmond Hill. I wrote a story. If you guys didn't see it, check it out at ITG Next, our website. I wrote a story talking about it was the Region 1 6A recap, and I'm going to do the same thing tonight or first thing tomorrow morning and post something. Just a recap of all the craziness from around the state, but namely in 1 6A, because this region is crazy. Last week I did this, and I wrote about Richmond Hill. It was Richmond Hill, Richmond Hill. Matt Lozada was getting all the interviews this past week. He was on with GPB. He was on with Matt Stewart, I think, who is GPB. And then rightfully so. Rightfully so. All of it was very deserved. Richmond Hill had put together two big, impressive wins over Tift and then, of course, over Camden. Did y'all know, by the way, and this comes from Matt Lozada, the head coach of Richmond Hill. Do you know that when they defeated Tift County in that first region game at Tift, that was their first away win since coming back or since joining Region 1 6A, whenever that was, 3-4 years ago. What was that, 21, 22? I think that they put together the new current 1 6A. But when and I'm going to get y'all's comments. Don't worry. I'm going to get caught up on everybody's comments. I appreciate Philip and Stephanie Rowan checking in. Johnny Holcomb, James Reamer. I'm going to get y'all's comments. So, whenever Richmond Hill, Appling's up now 29-27, 7:53. Because that's another one of those games you got forever. I mean, there'll be another 2 or 3 touchdowns left in that game. But Appling is up now 29-27. By the way, and I'm jumping around a little bit here, I know. In that game, just so you'll know, my pick 6 for this week, I had Crisp over Appling by 10 points, 26-16. Again, I had Crisp 26-16. So that game's kind of been blown. The score at least has been blown out of the water. But let's see if Chris can get the win. I tell you this, Tucker Pruitt has got Appling playing much better from the start of the season, much better. So anyway, where was I? All right, I was talking about Richmond Hill. This past week, they get two big wins. Matt Lozada told me the win that they had at Tift in the region opener. Do you guys know that was their first region road win since they joined the region back in 21? Think about that. Think about that. That was a big. What he was trying to say was Matt Lozada, he's head coach of Richmond Hill. He was telling me, look, we had a couple of things that we wanted to check off the box. We want to win that first region road game. Check that. Yeah, he said we wanted to beat Camden. They had never beaten Camden, had Richmond Hill, since they joined the region. Well, voila, last week they beat Camden. So Richmond Hill, listen, no fluke. And I'm going somewhere with this, okay? Richmond Hill proved they're no fluke. They won those two games very convincingly. They deserve to be at the top of the region. Well, tonight they come to Bazemore Hyder. And this was a super impressive win for the Valdosta Wildcats. 41-0, while Gabe Garrett tells us that Milton has just fumbled at the goal line. Great day in the morning. Oh, boy, that's a dagger. Can ill afford to do that. Daryl Brett, hey, Phil, just got home from visiting Rhode Island and Boston. Heard Valdosta won 41-0. Yeah, that's the score that we're getting, 41-0. Johnny Holcomb. Mike Thompson checking in, says Fitzgerald wins. What's up, Mike? Sean Harley checking in. Guys, be sure to let me know where y'all are checking in from, please. Sean Harley, 24-21, Fitzgerald wins. Oh my gosh, and that is a win over Thomasville? Yikes. Are you kidding me? West Tankersley, biggest win easily so far. Big win for Wesley Tankersley. Huge win. Incredible, guys. I am blown. I know my buddy Obadiah Farley likes to visit the show, and he'll ask me what's the biggest upset. Well, this is it. Obadiah, I don't know if you are watching or not. Obadiah Farley always likes to know, Phil, what's your biggest upset? This is it. So far, Thomasville losing. Is that right? Did they play Fitzgerald? Unbelievable. Listen, this was the hangover effect I talked about. That Thomasville Worth game, Thomasville didn't win it. Remember, they had the 3-touchdown lead in the third quarter. Worth County comes storming back, and they get the win. Unbelievable. Fitzgerald knocking off Thomasville. Guys, what's that going to do to the rankings? Boy, that is going to send Thomasville tumbling. Unbelievable. So, boy, it looks like you guys, we got several Fitzgerald fans now. Our Chandler Howe, Fitzgerald with the upset, 24-21. That was in Thomasville? Oh, boy, not good. Brian Bird, Fitzgerald just beat Thomasville. Go Canes. Michael Ward says, hopefully Valdosta and Lowndes don't lose any more games, setting up a big Wintersville Classic. Yeah, Halloween night. How about that? Lowndes, Valdosta. And that's going to be where? At Lowndes, the Concrete Palace. It's been a while since the Wintersville Classic has been that significant. You're right. So, Michael, I'll take a look at the schedule here in a minute and see who's playing where and where we're going to be at. I mean, at this point, so you've got Valdosta next week is going to be playing who? It's either got to be Tift. It's got to be Tift County. Right? It's got to be Tift because Valdosta's already played now Richmond Hill. Cold Cut County. and Colquitt, was it Colquitt? Colquitt, Tift, and Richmond Hill. Anyway, so about I mean it's got to be they got to be nearing the end of playing through their region schedule, except for Lowndes. Anyway, we'll figure it out. What a big win for Fitzgerald! That is huge. That is your upset of the night. Fitzgerald defeating the Thomasville Bulldogs, who before last week had only lost one game. That, of course, to crosstown rival, but 6A Thomas County Central. Okay, so Thomasville had been taking care of business on their level, and then, of course, last week, as we know, they get beat by Worth in a absolute slobber knocker of a game, a shootout, 41-40 in overtime. And then tonight, unbelievable. So they go down West Tankersley easily, his biggest win of his very brief career at Fitzgerald. That's a big win, West Tankersley. Congratulations, West. And listen now, for Thomasville, it's not the end of the road. It's 2 losses in a row, yes. But Thomasville still has a great football team. They got one of the top young quarterbacks in the state. So they're going to be all right. Everybody just take it easy. Take a deep breath. Just relax. Thomasville's going to be okay. Allen Clanton, Gainesville with a goal line stand. They're up 28-16, 3:30 left. Allen, is that game at Gainesville or at Milton tonight? Claudia Noel, Maine. Claudia says, well, I've just been taking it easy because I had another one of my severe episodes again this morning and ended up at my doctor, and he ordered more tests. Oh, okay. Well, hon, I hope you get some good news there. I really do. And yeah, let us know. Got to take care of yourself, Claudia. Kenneth Hurst, what's up, Kenneth? Says Fitzgerald run the ball all night. No answer. I'm assuming you mean that Thomasville had no answer for Fitzgerald. And if say Fitzgerald's running the football, what else is new? So Fitzgerald, new coach, same as the old coach, as the song says. New boss, same as the old boss. New coach at Fitzgerald, same as the old coach. And what I mean by that is the approach offensively has not changed. They're still running the football just like they have under their old coach, that being Tucker Pruitt. Remember, back before the year started, though, when I interviewed Wesley Tankersley, he had said that it was going to be, I asked, what are fans going to see differently from this team versus last year or years before? And Wes Tankersley said they're going to see us throw the football more. Now, I don't know if that has happened or not. I just really hadn't had a chance to keep up with it in detail. But somebody help me out if you are a Fitzgerald fan, or if if you've been keeping up with Fitzgerald or what have you. Let me know, has that been the case? Has indeed Fitzgerald, got somebody calling here. Hey, Jeffries, I'm on my podcast, man. Go bring up your laptop, dude, and watch me and chat with me. What's that? Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. Should be on. Hey, guys, are y'all watching me on Facebook? You should be watching me on Facebook. All right, guys. So I got a buddy of mine saying that he is on Facebook and he can't get the show. Where are you guys watching the show at? Should be on all of our platforms: Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. All right. Thanks, guys. All right. So Lanier County hangs on to win 34-30. That's a good win for David Dean. Philip and Stephanie Rowan. Berrien scored on the first play tonight. Didn't score again until the fourth. How about that? Boy, the winning went a long time. James Raymer. Appling's up 29-20. Okay, so that's old. I'm sorry. Going backwards here. Michael Ward. Okay, so that's another old one. Sorry. Let me get caught up here. I refreshed my chat, and I'm getting some of these older um, comments in. So apologize for that. Daryl Britt. Daryl, what's up, buddy? He says it's at Valdosta this year, Wintersville Classic. How about that? Worth County won again. Yes, they did. Dwayne Wynn. What's up, Dwayne? Dwayne wins. Fitzgerald 24, Thomasville 21. Yeah, I was just talking about that, man. What? That's the upset of the night. Kavion Patrick. What's up, Kavion? Valdosta made it look easy tonight versus Richmond Hill. Yeah, listen, Kavion, I've been talking about this. This is what Valdosta, this is the kind of Valdosta team that we've all been waiting for, right? Justin Fletcher. Fitzgerald over Thomasville is a shocker. Yes, it is a shocker. Yes, it is. I agree. I don't know what. Look, Justin, is it possible that that Thomasville had a hangover effect from that wild woolly game last week? Guys, listen. You pour all your emotions out into that game, an overtime game, and then you're going to ask your team to come back and do it again? That's tough. That's tough. So you got to wonder if Thomasville was emotionally spent. By the way, where do you guys watch the show at? Facebook, YouTube, X? Just trying to get a sampling here. Where you guys watching the show at? Okay, yeah, Kavion Patrick says Facebook. Russell Harrison Sr., Facebook. Abby Pearson, Facebook. Gabe Garrett, Facebook all day long. Michael Ward, Facebook. Michael Ward says, I'm watching from Lake Park, Georgia. Michael, I miss it so much down there at Lake Park. Oh my gosh, I miss it. I lived on Dykes Pond Road, Mike. Oh, I miss it so much. Love me some Lake Park. I love being a resident of Lake Park. Great place to live, Mike. And I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir. All right, Gabe Garrett tells us that Gainesville is going to take it home. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left, no timeouts for Milton. It's a first down for Gainesville, so it does appear that Gainesville is going to be able to milk the clock here and run out the clock. Okay, so it's over. Juancimo Villalobos, 28-16, the final. How about that? Gainesville upsets Milton. Guys, listen to me. 3 monumental wins tonight. 3 monumental wins tonight. Mike Sorensen, that's a great. Mike Sorensen with the post of the night right there. Great post, Mike. Mike Sorensen, Milton's first region loss since 2017. Great run of region win. That's a heck of a run, man. Mike, that's a good get on your part. Way to go, brother. Huge, man. Great shot. Great job, Mike. Listen, 3 monumental wins tonight. Fitzgerald, okay. Fitzgerald West Tankersley. Easily his big win since taking over the Fitzgerald program. Maybe his biggest win. I don't know. He has some big wins in Stevens County, right? But there's no question this is a big win, the biggest win for Wesley Tankersley in his early Fitzgerald career. Second team that it was such a big win tonight was who? Gainesville, the Red Elephants. The Gainesville Red Elephants, that's a big win for you guys. That's a big win for you guys. Knocking off Milton. Huge. Why do I say that? Guys, Gainesville gets knocked out of the playoffs last year in the first round, upset against Sequoia. Nobody in their right mind thought that was ever going to happen. Now, it's not to take anything away from Sequoia, but Sequoia had a good team as they went on to prove. But, like I said, Gainesville, they brought Josh Niblett into Gainesville to win state championships, not get put out in the first round. Okay? I remember when I talked to Josh Niblin in the preseason for their preseason preview that we put together, he told me that everything that they were gearing for this year was to make the ghost of last year gone, disappear. And I'm going to tell you, you can count that win tonight over Milton. That is a career defining, as a program defining win for Gainesville, guys. It's huge. I can't tell you how big it is. This now suddenly puts Gainesville back up in the pecking order in 5A. Now, you still got, in 5A, we know, you still got Thomas County Central. You still got Houston County. You got Roswell. I mean, there are some horses that you're going to have to get past. But like I said, 5A is the most competitive region. I'm sorry, it's the most competitive classification from top to bottom. It's 5A. I mean, it's huge, huge win tonight for Gainesville over Milton. That's big. All right, so the big wins tonight were Fitzgerald, Gainesville. Gosh, Appling does beat. Listen, I was hoping Justin Newman was going to get the win in this one. Look, I like both these guys. I like Tucker Pruitt. I like Justin Newman. I don't know. I'm pulling for Justin Newman. We spent a good bit of time with him in the preseason up at Cordell. I see the job that he's doing. But you know what? Also pulling for Tucker Pruitt as well. So Johnny Holcomb, huge win for Coach Niblett. Yeah, boy, isn't that right, Johnny? Okay, so who was my third team? So we were talking about monumental wins tonight. I was talking about Fitzgerald, Gainesville. I was doing so good. Jim Blair, Cochran County Packers, that was a big win. Hughes, a big win. Montezuma Villalobos snapped Milton's 18-game. Oh, that was at Milton tonight. Ooh, wow, it is big. All right, who was so I had three teams. Big win tonight. Gainesville, big win. Fitzgerald, big win. Gosh, who was it, guys? There was three. There's three teams. Anyway, it'll come to me in a minute. Maybe you guys can answer. So the big wins tonight, and I'm talking about monumental wins. Yeah, Fitzgerald. I got Fitzgerald. I got Gainesville. There was three teams that I was talking about who came away with big wins tonight. Was it Valdosta? Maybe. I'm not sure. I can tell you. Okay, I can tell you that game with Valdosta. I think that was yeah, that's it, Valdosta. So it was Valdosta, Fitzgerald, and Gainesville. Big wins. Look, Valdosta, they took a step back last week. But then tonight, give the Wildcats credit. They bounced back in a big way. And they get a big win over a tough, scrappy Richmond Hill team who is still tied for the region lead right now. So, man, unbelievable, guys. All right, it's 10:40 on this Friday night scoreboard show. Thanks so much for being a part of the show tonight, guys. I'm Phil Jones. You're watching us here, ITG Next Georgia. Appreciate everybody checking in. Diane Gammons, I know who that is. That's Mike Gammons. What's up, Big Mike? At least I think it is. John Cox says, yeah, I'm watching on Facebook. Evan Reese, go Mighty Hornets. Roswell wins tonight 57-13 over Chattahoochee. I talked about Mike Sorensen giving us those great stats on Milton. Mike, good job, buddy. Heather Knight Rodriguez checking in. What's up, Heather? Final Gainesville wins. Yes, they do. And again, Heather, that's a huge win for the Gainesville High Red Elephants. Juancimo Villalobos, indeed, final for the Gainesville Red Elephants. Julian Colbard, Creekside won 91 to nothing. What is up with Creekside and these crazy scores? What's up with that? I mean, they get beat last year like 67 to nothing or something. Now, didn't they have another game earlier this year where they beat somebody like, I don't know, 100 to nothing or something? Where's this coming from? I don't like it. I do not like that at all. No, 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 no. Johnny Holcomb, a huge win for Coach Niblett. Man, it was indeed. Well, let me get caught up here. Evan Reese says, I really wouldn't call the Gainesville win an upset. Milton has not really played anyone on a Gainesville caliber since their quarterback one went down. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I don't know though, Evan. They did beat Blessed Trinity, didn't they? Blessed Trinity's a pretty good team. So, but I get your point. I do. Mike Sorensen, Gainesville and Roswell meet the last game of the season as of right now, tied in the region. Yeah, I remember when they played last year, last game of the season. Man, that thing was a shootout. I think that game was played at City Park in Gainesville, was it not? Somebody help me out with that. I think they did. I think they played the last game of the year last year at Gainesville. And it turned out Gainesville had to hold off. I remember, I think Roswell was like going for two. You guys remember that? They scored a late touchdown, went for two, and didn't make it. Evan Reese, you guys help me out on that. Because I think that's right. I think I'm right. Heather Knight Rodriguez. If I'm not mistaken, Roswell's going to play Gainesville and Milton back to back. I don't know about that. You know more than I do on that one, at least. Jim Blair, Hughes, Creekside win. Yeah, that was no. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. I hate that. I hate that. Evan Reese. I don't understand the Gainesville hate though. Some people were counting them out. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know if you guys saw it today on Facebook. There was some pretty nasty stuff posted about Gainesville. Look, uh, I don't know. Look, I'm trying to spend less and less time on Facebook, except for just post about our profession, our company. But other than that, I'm just not going to spend my time on there. It's just it's just too easy for people to start taking out the garbage, and I just don't like it. Don't like scores like that. All right. Evan Reese, it's Milton's first home loss since North Cobb beat him in 2023. How about that? How about that? Johnny Holcomb. Yeah, Valdosta, you're right. That was the other team I was trying to think of, Johnny. Absolutely. How about that Carver game, guys? So Carver led 2-0 forever. Had a bad snap. It's been raining cats and dogs. By the way, where did that ever come from? That saying, it's been raining cats and dogs. Anyway, so it was raining cats and dogs in America. 2-0. I remember I kept looking at the radar on my phone, and it was just it wasn't going anywhere. Boy, Carver knows what. I mean, I'm sorry, Sumter, Americus knows what it's like for some of these storms to just settle over you, don't they? Don't you? Wow, massive flooding in the past there in Americus, but not tonight. I'm hoping. But it did rain a lot. It obviously caused problems with the snap, the punter, where I think the ball went out of the back of the end zone, safety. So I'm sorry. So Sumter County led it Carver led it 2-0. I'll get it right. And then late, and I had told my buddy, Mr. Kears, he's on the board of education, I believe. He's his son plays for Sumter. He's a heck of a running back. He can do it all, actually. So kind of keeping me up to speed on what's happening in that Americus. I call them Americus. They used to go by Americus Sumter County. That's the Sumter Carver game. So Carver led forever 2-0. Sumter County scores late to make it what 7-2. And I'm thinking that might be enough. And then lo and behold, here comes Gainesville. I'm sorry, here comes Carver. Gainesville Carver. Here comes Carver back, and they win it. I'd like to know some details. How did it happen? What happened? How did Carver get the final touchdown? How much time did it come with? Inquiring minds want to know. Incredible night of football, guys. And just an incredible night of football, isn't it? All right, my pick six tonight. I can tell you, my pick six tonight. I had Valdosta. These were games that I picked earlier in the week. Valdosta 28-14 over Richmond Hill. They obviously get the win, right? 41-0 final. I had Colquitt 27-14 over Tift County. What was that final? I had Lowndes 42-14 over Camden County. What was the final in that one? Carver Columbus. I had Carver winning at 30-21. I had them winning by 9 points. Now, game obviously didn't get that high a score. All right, so I had Crisp defeating Appling 26-16. All right, so just checking out my pick six. So I had Thomasville defeating Fitzgerald 35-21. I missed that one. Still can't get over that, guys. That's the upset of the night right there. That's the upset of the night. I had Crisp defeating Appling. So, gosh, I missed two. I missed two. So, but not bad. I'll take 4-2. Abby Pearson says that's Clinch's first win, or Clinch's win over Brooks was the first in many years on their home field. How about that? Rodriguez Upshaw. What's up, Rodriguez? Go Big Red. Jim Blair says that's the second. Um, Johnny Holcomb, if we survive Tift, which you will, and Lowndes beats Richmond Hill, which they probably will, the Winners Road Classic will be huge. Yep, I think it's exactly what's going to happen. It's exactly what's going to happen, Johnny. I think you are. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's the scenario, and I'm going to tell you it. Look, you're going to survive Tift, and I got to tell you, Tift is just this. I don't. I'll say the last 2 weeks were big. Were very unpleasant surprises, in my opinion. Now, I'll talk to Jeff Littleton about it this week on the Jeff Littleton Tift County Coaches Show. I really thought Tift County was going to take some momentum into the region schedule. I thought they were going to beat Richmond Hill, maybe take another win, and did not happen. Now, it does sound like it was a fairly good and routine game tonight. By the way, I do want to mention, okay, so I wrote the story about Jay Lamar. And remember last Friday, okay, I told you guys then that I was, sworn to secrecy. I had given Sean Calhoun my word that I wasn't going to mention, the Jay Lamar thing or say anything else about it because, Coach did not want that to be a distraction in the Valdosta game. So I didn't. It was not a distraction. And Colquitt was able to win the game. Now, Monday morning, Coach calls me with an official statement, and I appreciate that. But it's our relationship with these coaches are rock solid. I have built relationships with these coaches, and I'm making a point here. So I knew that Jay Lamar had been kicked off the team before pretty much anybody else did, in the media anyway. But I decided, again, at coach's request, I said, I'm not going to say anything. He didn't want me to, again, didn't want it being a distraction to the team. So I didn't say anything. Well, then yesterday, Dogs HQ, one of the Dogs, Georgia Bulldogs message boards, I guess, whatever, Dogs HQ, um, had put somebody pretty prominent in college football coverage had written, "Hey, I'm hearing Jay Lamar is back on the team." So I once again reached out to Coach Calhoun. I did not hear back from him. And I was waiting tonight to see if Jay Lamar took the field because, again, based on that Dogs HQ report, they had said that Jay Lamar was back on the team. I had inside sources that said that was not the case, and I'm assuming he did not play tonight. Is that right, guys? Can somebody confirm that for me? So I'm saying all this to say that, you got to be careful when you hear these rumors, and because that's really what they are. Um, and that's kind of, where I'm at as far as Colquitt County. How much is that going to hurt them, if at all? I don't know who's the running back that stood up in place of Jay Lamar. I don't really know, but it's like whoever it is, unless Jay Lamar is back and I don't know it, it sounds like it's going to be running back by committee or whomever his replacement is. Scott Posey, what's up with Irwin Indians this year? Been one of the best teams in the last 9 years, 2 state championships. Scott, listen, buddy, I have posed that same question. Okay, guys, keep your questions coming in, man. I love it. Xavier Jackson, thank you guys that doubted Gainesville. Jim Blair says Lowndes is in first place all along. You're right. You're right. I think I was mistaken when I said they were tied. You're right. Lowndes is all along. You're absolutely right. Jim Blair, yeah, I stand corrected. You are correct. Lowndes all alone, 3-0. Colquitt, Valdosta, Richmond, all at 2-1. You're right. My bad. Um, okay. So, Scott, here's the deal. And I've been saying this the last couple of Friday nights here on the show. When Casey Soliday announced he was leaving, or when he left Irwin County, I remember thinking then, like, wow, what, why? Because he didn't, well, he retired, I guess, from Georgia public schools, but he went to Tift Academy to coach with, I think it's his cousin, Eric Soliday, who is the head coach at Tift Academy. So I think Casey Soliday is on the staff at Tift Academy. I believe that's the case. Anyway, when Casey Soliday announced he was leaving Irwin, I remember thinking, no, what's going on here? And well, you found out what was going on. When I looked at the roster and I saw where, I don't think any returning starters, and you got to remember, a lot of these kids who had played for Irwin, Scott, and I'm answering your question, taking the long form. But Irwin had won with a class, a class, a group of students, student athletes, players, who had been playing and contributing for the last 3-4 years, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and that kind of thing. Well, I remember looking at when I was trying to make my preseason, when I was doing my preseason polls, and I saw after Casey Soliday had announced he was leaving, I thought, well, that's interesting. Let me see what their roster looks like. And sure enough, you saw where great running back after great running back after great running back, that's kind of the thing there with with Irwin County. So I thought, okay, what's going on with Irwin? They lost everybody. So, and I've been saying this, if you see a good coach who's been with the program for a long time, suddenly just up and leave, that's usually a sign that the program's about to tank. And that's exactly what happened with Irwin and Scott. I talked about this. There's a lot of these teams like Irwin County. They're right there at the top. But you've got a lot of these what I call blue blood programs. These programs that have been dominant for so long. Irwin County's really right there at the top. Irwin County, and don't let the fact that they are a smaller classification school fool you, because they have won as many championships as anyone has anywhere. So it's, of course, the law of attrition is what happened and what caught up with Irwin. They had these players in the pipeline. They had these players, coming up, coming up, coming up, and all of a sudden, boom, you hit a dry spell. Every program it happens to. Adam Carter and Lowndes are just now recovering from their dry spell that's been going on for what, the last 4 years or so. So Scott, that's the deal with Irwin. But again, like I said, whenever you see a coach that's been with a program for a while, whenever you see them up and leave, that's usually a red flag. Watch out, because things are about to go south. And it's just Phil's observation. I'm not saying that's the one all be all, but I do think it is definitely a criteria for when you see a coach leave. You better understand why he's leaving, or you're going to be in for some big surprises. So, all right, let's see who all is. I need to catch up. Evan Reese. Evan Reese, Blessed Trinity is an overrated 4A team. Last year, Gainesville played at Roswell. Roswell won. Simo Villalobos says it was at Roswell. Nathan Sloan, go Pack, go. Go Pack, go. I hear you. Heather Knight Rodriguez, Carver Columbus beating Sumter County was a very good game. Yeah, so Heather Knight, can anybody enlighten me on exactly what happened? I was getting the scores, and I saw where Carver Columbus led it 2-0. And then you had Sumter County that come back and made it what? Was it 8-2? Is that right? Or 7-2? Whatever. And then lo and behold, somewhere, somehow, Carver Columbus gets the final touchdown to win it. Ouch. It's tough. James Raymer, a North Georgia upset is Oglethorpe County, giving Raven County their first loss 28-19. Wow, that is another upset, guys. What is up tonight with these upsets? That's huge. Oglethorpe County, had they won a game? I mean, I'm not being facetious. I just don't know. Jim Blair, they played same team this year, beat them 90-20. Yeah, you're right. Jim Blair's talking about Creekside, the team that beat them last year 90-0 or whatever. They beat Creekside, I guess, beat them 90-20 this year. Yeah, whatever. Again, I don't like it either way. These trying to rack up, tons of points, whatever. Don't like it. Stephen K. Wynn, they played at Roswell. Gabe Garrett, ready for next week, and my Tombs Dogs to get back to cracking heads. By the way, was not expecting that Thomasville and Raven County scores. Gave me either, man. Those were big upsets. I'm with you. So if you're just checking in, guys, we've got some shockers tonight to talk about. Thomasville, after going through that wacky overtime game and loss to Worth County last week, they didn't have any chance really except for the week. I mean, they went through their routine of trying to get back, but that's a tough loss. Hindsight's 2022. I mean, you look back and think about what shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever. But things just didn't work. But yeah, man, and just not expecting Thomasville to get beat That's two losses in a row for Coach Jonathan DeLay and his Thomasville Bulldogs. Now, as I said before, they're going to be okay. You know, we're here in in the heart of region play, so they're going to be okay. All right, John M. Cox, really surprised in the Raven County lose, but I get what you're saying. I'll correct that for you. Loss. Yeah, that's shocking, isn't it? Mm. Matthew Dunn, Phil, I think the same refs from last week, and Sylvester showed up in this Rose City again. I think we need to ask the Bulldog faithful. Wow, really? So what happened, man? I mean, was it just kind of one of the was it just one of the I mean, several bad calls, one bad call? I mean, I'm trying to figure out exactly what happened. All right. Amanda Kahn, what's up, Amanda? Amanda Kahn tells us a Colquitt 39-20. It's the final over Tiff. I gotta be honest with you, I'm glad to see Tiff County get back. What happened there? There we go. I'm glad to see that Colquitt County got or Tiff County. Hang on, guys. Bear with me here. I don't know what's going on. All right, just put this thing away. I'm glad that Tiff County got back on track, at least scoring points offensively. Tiff County, if there is an unpleasant situation this year, it's Tiff. It looked like Jeff Littleton, and listen, he still does have this program turned around. Do not misunderstand what I'm saying. But it's a little disheartening to see Tiff County how they lost last week. You know, being shut out against Lowndes, 35-0. Tonight they are able to put up points, but it just looks like you've got some issues with the defense. You've got some issues with the inability to score points. And again, I will talk to Coach Littleton about it next or this coming week on the Tiff County Coaches Show. It's one of the 6 coaches shows that I host. If you guys aren't following the coaches shows, why not? Chances are you've got some interest in one of the coaching shows. I do 4 coaching shows on Monday, 2 on Tuesday. So would love to have you guys joining us on some of these coaches shows. We record them, then you can go back and watch them. Stephen K. Wynn says Carver and Sumter was an old school defensive classic. Sounds like it was. Colquitt 39-20. Amanda, okay, so I'm sorry, I'm repeating some of the comments from earlier. Stephen K. Wynn says Carver scored on a pass with about 3 minutes left. How about that? Ouch. Matthew Dunn, after week 5 each year, Fitzgerald, Worth, and Thomasville need to play just each other the rest of the regular season. It's been some good ball to watch. Agree. Colquitt, Valdosta, Richmond Hill, 2-1. Yeah, I got you. I got you, Jim. Mike Sorensen, Tiff still better off with Littleton than 100%. Mike Sorensen says Tiff is still better off with Jeff Littleton than Noel Dean. Yes, yes, yes. It's not even close. What a disaster Noel Dean was. Bad guy. Just no good. Wow, Rosser Sutherland. Look at your Marietta Blue Devils, dude. Another big win for Cam Duke and the Blue Devils. 36-35. Look at Rosser Sutherland. I know you got to be dancing in the streets in Marietta. Unbelievable. Obadiah Farley's finally made it in the house. To what do we owe thee, Obadiah, for blessing us with your grace? Or no, that's not it. I butchered it up. Gracing us with your presence. Unbelievable. What's going on, Obadiah? Great to see you in the house. It's Thomas County Central's #1 fan, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big hand for Obadiah Farley. Well, Mike, I just keep going back to your comment, man, about Littleton being better off with, or the Tiff County still better off with Jeff Littleton. Of course they are. Of course they are. I mean, at Tiff County, you had the superintendent brought in Dean. They were just two peas in a pod. They're gone, and so listen, they're gone and are to never come back. Tiff County is in good hands, irregardless of what happened tonight. Tiff County football is in good hands with Jeff Littleton. He will get that program back up to how he wants it. But not tonight. Roster Sutherland, again, that's a big win for Marietta. For you guys don't remember, Marietta 0-4 to start the season. They hired Cameron Duke from Edgewater, Orlando, to come in and get things turned around and get off to a rough start. 0-4. I think that's 4 wins in a row now, isn't it, Rosser? And again, this is what I was talking about earlier, guys. Okay, so what has happened to the Blue Bloods? North Cobb was a blue blood program. Okay. Norcross, a blue blood program. See, those schools are not having the dominant year coming out of the gate this year. So what has happened to the blue bloods? Well, tonight, again, you had North Cobb. They're not having the best of year. Norcross is not having the best of years. So rough start to the so-called blue blood programs. All right, trying to catch up on some of your comments here. Amanda Kahn says, no Jay, but Jason Stevenson is doing an amazing job. Okay, Jim Blair, I'm sorry. That's what you meant. I thought you were talking about the school Stevenson. So it's Stevenson doing it right now. Thank you guys for that. What's his name? Jason Stevenson. I won't forget it again. Jason Stevenson. Be helpful if I wrote it down. Jason Stevenson. All right, I need to check this young man out because I'm assuming he's getting it done without Jay. So that's good. All right. Alan Clanton. Yeah, Casey is the OC at Tift area. Michaela is the DC. Eric is the head coach. Yeah, it's on the Godfrey. No, I'm sorry. Soliday clan. Rosser Sutherland, look at you, buddy. Marietta controls region 568. How about that? Noah Clegg. Phil, please keep picking against the halfling. So I'm helping out the cause, huh? Look, Noah, to be honest with you, okay. Appling got off to a slow start. Okay. I love Tucker Pruitt, by the way. I love the Appling program. Been able to meet the bank president over there who does a great job of helping. He's the bank president, but I think he's the head of the football booster club or whatever. Anyway, they do a lot to support the football team, is what I'm saying. And I got to know some of the guys. Kelly Stone. Got to know him. Does a really good job. Really standing behind the football team. Gives them, that booster club makes sure they have everything they need, and that's good. That's what you have to have in this day and age of high school football, big time high school football at least. So I like what they're doing, what they're being able to do, nutrition standpoint, all that. So Noah, to get back to your question or your statement about Phil keep picking against Appling, look, I have been keeping up with Appling, and I know that they've been a little bit slow to get off the can, so to speak, as my dad used to say. So they have been slow, but it looks like now they're coming on strong. Is Appling. And that's, big win for them tonight. So it's a great win. So no, I can't promise you that I'll keep picking against Appling. Um, but we'll see. Well, look, I'm having a pretty good year on my pick six, so I'll stand behind my picks. Not everybody gonna be happy, that's for sure. Because why? Because in every pick, there's a winner and there's a loser. Nobody wants to be picked against. I get it, but it is what it is. Okay, Oglethorpe was 2-3, I believe. John Cox, I had asked earlier if Oglethorpe had won a game this year, and again, I wasn't being facetious. I honestly did not know. So how about that? Though Oglethorpe, gosh, go dog 65 just got in from Albany, watching my nephew play for Deerfield. Listening on our way home. Hey, go dogs! Thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. I really do. It means a lot for you guys to just be tuned in. However, you're listening or watching the show, does not matter. I really do appreciate your time checking in, buddy. J.E. Woods, good evening, Phil. Mill Creek, 2014 over Collins Hill in overtime. Oh my goodness. Oh, oh man. Oh man. Mm. Look, you know, I love Josh Lovelady at Mill Creek. Collins Hill. Drew Swick he's my buddy. He is my buddy. I love the guy. Great, great fellow. He's another head football coach that I have, become really tight with and strong with. He's got a great family, and I just hate that I wasn't able to get the win tonight. Goodness, man, oh, I hate that. But J.E. Woods, thank you for this. Good evening, Phil and Collins Hill. Um, I just hate that. So things did not go well for the underdog tonight. Well, I shouldn't say the underdog because I don't know. Was Collins Hill favored in that game? Collins Hill and Mill Creek. Look, when and here's another example. Okay, talking about the coaches when they leave. Lenny Gregory, and I got to know Lenny Gregory pretty well. It's actually Lenny Gregory Gomez or Gomes. Sorry. So when Lenny left Collins Hill, I remember thinking, now why are you leaving? I mean, you're right. You just won a national championship. You got best player in the country. Anyway, I remember when he left Collins Hill, I remember thinking, maybe worth watching. And sure enough, Collins Hill went downhill. Drew Swick was appointed the interim coach, and he brought that team back, lifted them up, and did a great job of helping to get these kids up to snuff, getting their nutrition program, yada, yada, yada. So he built Collins Hill back up. Remember, that was when Travis Hunter left and they had to kind of start over. Now, you're not going to find another Travis Hunter anywhere, but he did instill good habits there at Collins Hill. It's just a guy I'm pulling for. It's a program I'm pulling for. Okay. So there are a couple of different teams like that I really pull for, and I want to see them do well. And I'm not ashamed to say it. Absolutely not. All right, guys, we are at 11:14, about 45 minutes left. Plenty of time to talk football. Where are you guys at? What is happening? Where you guys at? Stephen K. Win, Valdosta bounced back 41. That was a huge bounce back. I talked about it earlier, a Stephen K. Win. Big, big win. Man, I'm just sitting there staring at this Mill Creek Collins Hill final. I cannot believe that happened. Oh, gosh. Guys, look, I'm shocked by the Statesboro over Brunswick game. I hadn't really even talked a lot about that. Are you guys surprised by that? With Statesboro beating Brunswick, they are now in the driver's seat for a Region 1 5A championship. Wow. Says they just need to beat Evans, South Effingham, and Effingham over the next 3 weeks. Yeah, is that all? How about that? James Raymer, man, that's again, I love to see these underdogs who have been considered kind of the rear or the middle of the pack. Well, that's not the case anymore. It looks like in at least one 5A. How about that? Michael Sorensen, I think Holloman was injured during the game for Tiff. Not sure what quarter he was injured. Man, that's tough. Prayers for that young man. Gosh, I hate that. I hope it's nothing serious. But that is another crazy thing about a player like Holloman. He was the go-to guy for Tift County in that offense. So if you don't have a run game, but especially a good one to set up the passing game, and it looks like what Tift County's problems are right now. Just surmising, and I may even talk to Coach Littleton about it when we do the coaches show, record the coaches show on Tuesday. And by the way, you guys can still subscribe or subscribe to our newsletter. It doesn't cost you a thing. And you guys can go online and watch the coaches shows. Just again, go to ITG Next Georgia. You'll see our you'll see the post there. All of our polls, top 10 Georgia football, basketball. All right, let me see here. Evan Reese says today is a crazy night for scores. It really is. No doubt about that. Stephen K. Wynn, how about Deerfield Winds are going 8-0? They defeated Tift Air tonight 24-13. Could possibly one of your back-to-back state champions. That, you know what? Stephen K. Wynn, you know what? I had said and I had proclaimed this year to be the year of the repeat. Did not and honestly was not thinking about my buddy Jake McCray and the Deerfield Windsor Knights. But you're 100% right, Stephen. Looks like that this could turn out to be, again, one of the back-to-back state champions. Again, talking about Deerfield Windsor. Do you know the year was it? So this past year they won the state championship. The year before that, I think they went winless. I believe I'm right about that. John M. Cox, not surprised that Josh Niblett wins big. Gainesville will be a force to be reckoned with as long as Niblett is at the helm. Look, I love Niblett, John. Okay, I love him. We did the coach show with him a couple of years. Got to know him well. I love Coach Josh Niblett. Don't take this the wrong way, and I certainly pray he does not. But last year had to be a disappointment for Gainesville and the fans and everybody. I mean, you were brought in to win state championships, okay? And that has not worked out. We know that Littleton obviously was able to lead. And I just think Niblett, again, is brought in to win state championships, brought in to lead that team, to lead that program to a state title. And I just don't know if losing to Sequoia in the first round is what Gainesville had planned, what their plan was. Now, I'll be honest with you. I talked about this in the off season. Niblett had mentioned, several conversations. Our focus, and I'm paraphrasing here. It's not a quote, but he said something along the lines of, our main focus is to use last year as a motivator and to understand what it meant to go out in the first round of the playoffs. That stinks, man. Especially when you're right there. Well, fast forward to this year. You got a chance now with some players coming in to maybe take that next step, and that was a huge, big win for Gainesville tonight. This may have been the biggest win since Niblett's been there, guys. Now, I know you can say, well, that's true, but what about the first year when he took Gainesville to the state championship? Albeit I think a 35-28 loss to Milton. No, I'm sorry, to Langston Hughes. I apologize. They lost in the state title game to Hughes. My bad. Darius, speaking of Hughes, look who's in the house. Darius Kirksey. What's up, brother? Darius Kirksey looked at my top 25 poll and said, "This thing's trash, man. Throw that thing in the trash can." I love it. I love it. Hey, listen, in our business, it's like they say, there is no such thing as bad publicity. There's no such thing as a bad engagement. If people are engaging with you, that's the ticket. So rather you be paying attention to me, and no matter what you say, versus somebody not paying attention to us. If you know, you guys know what I mean. All right, but John, I'm not surprised either that Niblett wins big. Do not get me wrong; he is a big time coach. He proved that at Hoover. But I'm saying it is a tough place to win and coach to win in Gainesville. I think your Hispanic population in Gainesville and Hall County is like 70%, or at least in that school district. So I mean, it's hard. It's very hard. It's just from a demographic standpoint. Look, and this has nothing to do with the immigration stuff and all that. I'm not getting into that, but I'm just talking about it's tough when you're trying to build a top-notch football program and you don't have the players. So it's tough. It's just tough. That's all I'm saying. But you know what? For now, all eyes just focused on this season and trying to maybe finish the drill. So let me ask you this: we talk a lot about 6A. What about 5A, guys? Who do you guys think are going to be the teams in 5A? We talked about 6A earlier. Barry Van, what's up, Barry? Pierce plays Appling on Halloween. That's going to be huge, isn't it? Yeah, Brad Phillips. How you doing, Brad? Brad, I think you are a vet there in Brunswick, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Let's see here. Brad Phillips, Statesboro upset Brunswick. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Brad. One of the big upsets tonight. We had some big upsets. And Obadiah, I don't know if you saw me, but I was talking about you earlier, Obadiah. I said, Obadiah Farley always asks me, Phil Jones, what are your biggest upsets of the night? Well, I'm going to tell you what the biggest upsets are. They are, excuse me, um, so my upsets were Statesboro defeating Brunswick. No doubt about it. And again, I think I like Brunswick. I had them in my top 10. I don't know if they're going to stay there. Again, we have changed, by the way, if you guys have not seen it. This past week, we transformed our original top 10 for every single classification. That's a lot of work. We thought, I'm going to say we, Mark and I thought that maybe it would work better. You guys would receive it better if we put together a top 25 list, all classifications. And I started working on that, I guess, last week. And I know I had a lot of people that did not like the top 25. They disagreed with some things in the top 25. I want to know, though, what you guys think about it. I'm just talking about overall. Do you prefer a top 25 all classification over a top 10 for every class? I'm just kind of interested in what you got, how you guys feel about that. For a little informal poll, you know. Just say you feel I like the idea of a top 25 poll versus ranking the top 10 teams in every classification. Plus, time becomes of the essence because we want to get things out early. And again, me being able to do the top 25 is a lot faster than having to rank what 70, 80 teams. Yeah, if you're ranking A, AD1, AD2, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, and then you got private. So that's eight. That's 80 teams I have to figure out every week. That's a lot. And then you put on top of that written stories for every game, for every group. So anyway, would love to hear what y'all think about the top 25 poll, all classifications top 25 football poll, or the traditional way. Which suits y'all better? Glenn Academy, Brad Phillips, thank you for that. I think it's Dr. Brad Phillips, isn't it? Glenn Academy, 28-2 over South Effingham. Boy, there's another one now. Glenn Academy. And Brad, you're probably in a good position as anybody to answer this. What has happened to Glenn Academy? Boy, they used to be really good. Rocky Hidalgo. Talking about a fiery coach, huh? All right, Mike Sorensen, suburbs of Chula here. Mike, you know that I basically was raised in Chula. Mountain Zion Church Road, dude. Did you ever know that? I sure was. All right, you're checking out some of your comments coming in. Let me get caught up here. Stephen K. Wynn, Phil, didn't Lenny Gregory have an issue with the administration that led to him leaving? You know what? He may have. I think you're right. Stephen. But still, there just seems to be, it's a little more than just pure coincidence, I think. Maybe he did have an issue with the administration, but you know, maybe it was a mutual thing. Maybe it just made it easier for him, to leave. I just, again, guys, in case you're wondering what we're talking about, I'm really amazed whenever you see a long-standing coach who's been with the program for a while up and leave. I use the example of Eric Soliday, or no, I'm sorry, Casey Soliday at Irwin. Because I remember when I was doing the preseason polls, I remember I looked at Irwin and I'm thinking, man, they're going to have anybody back. And sure enough, that was the preseason poll. Sure enough, when the season got rocking and rolling, and you know, it became just a non-factor. Bernard Dunnan, and don't worry, Jay, I'm not going to skip over your comments, guys. I'll make sure I go back up. All right, first of all, Mike Sorensen, suburbs of Chula here. I love it. Mike, I lived on Mount Zion Church Road, brother. Brad Phillips, strangest score of the night was Dunwoody 5, Woodward Academy 4. Guys, was there a full moon tonight? What is going on? Craziest night of football I've ever seen. Dunwoody 5-4, and they get a run in the bottom of the ninth to win it. I couldn't resist. Obadiah Farley's in and out. ITG checking back in. I got you, Obadiah. John Cox, Scooterville's in the house. A lot of people don't know where Scooterville is. I know where it's at. J.E. was dang, Phil. It's not like MC was 20-point underdogs. I got you, man. I hear you. But you know what I'm talking about. Mill Creek. I mean, Mill Creek is not the Mill Creek they were. And you got to admit that, Josh. All right. Big win for Fitzgerald tonight in memory and dedicated to Coach Mark Morrell, a.k.a. Coach Boogie. That's Bernard Dunham. So, Bernard, I'm not sure. I'm not. Apologies. I'm not sure who that is or who that was. I'm sorry. John Cox. I was surprised how small Tiff's quarterback was tonight. Nothing against the kid. He could spin it for sure. Now, guys, is that not the normal quarterback? Is that not the normal quarterback? In other words, did they make a change? What happened there? Can anybody tell me? Has there been a change in the quarterback situation at Tift? Danny Jones, Phil, do you think Gainesville has what it takes to get over the hump this year and win the big game? That's a good question. Obviously, Danny, the win over Milton, is huge. I, I did not see this coming. Um, I think it's big time. I really do. I think it's big time. Um, it's huge, no doubt. But to answer your question, Danny, if Gainesville has what it takes to get over the hump, I don't know. The jury's still out. Who do they have, Danny? Who does Gainesville have? Justin King, Tift area looking rough compared to last year. Let's see some of the other questions coming in here. Stephen K. Wynn, apparently rumor has it that Gainesville took a page out of Milton's 2024 roster reload. Mitchell County 38 to nothing over Pelham. Now that's a surprise. Not necessarily that they won, but the fact that they won by 38 points. Stephen K. Wynn says as of today, he thinks it's Langston Hughes and TCC for the 5A title. Maybe. Maybe. I'll tell you this, Stephen, it's going to be interesting to see what happens going down the stretch. We've got before the season started, I don't know how many of y'all remember, but I had said that I thought this was shaping up to be the most exciting high school football season we had experienced in a while. I did say that. I also talked about the 5 programs to watch for this year. And we will revisit those. Maybe if not tonight, we'll get to them. But I just think it's so cool that we've got these teams to watch out for, these players to watch for, and lo and behold, they're doing well. Stephen K. Wynn. Bainbridge needs to contact McCray at Deerfield Windsor. I don't know, man. I think you gotta get out. All right, Brad Phillips. My fun job is officiating GHSA football, and yes, during the day I am a veterinarian. Oh, I thought I saw that in your in your bio, Brad. Thanks so much, man, for communicating with us at ITT Next. It's good to meet you. So Brad, I got to do this, man. If I if I don't, I know you hate when people do this, but cherry red bump has come up on my dog on the side, her side. Curious what that might be. Hey, you're not trying to mix football with your profession. I know you're off the clock, man. But I had to ask. Had to ask. Yeah, just like a cherry red bump, about, oh, I don't know, a little bigger than an eraser head, but smaller than a dime. Anyway, I just thought I would ask since you're on with us. Let's see here. Okay, so I was asking about y'all's opinion, top 25 overall versus a top 10 poll for every single classification. Which do y'all prefer? We switched this past week from a top 10. Now I still submit a top 10 as part of the statewide composite poll. So I still submit the ITG Next Top 10 that we, along with the AJC, Score Atlanta, 680 The Fan of Atlanta, and who else? Max Preps. Max Preps, Lauren Maxwell, not the same thing, by the way. So I still put together a top 10 so that we can continue to take part in the statewide composite poll, top 10, which does top 10 for every class. But I'm doing it kind of both ways now. So with ITG Next, we're doing a top 25 all classifications. Which do y'all like? What do you prefer? Stephen K. Wynn lets his opinion be known. Darius Kirksey, with tonight's win, Gainesville set up to meet. Now, see, this is Darius, man. He is Mr. Bracket. He's our bracketologist. He's the official ITG Next bracketologist that we bring in times like this. So Darius says, with tonight's win, Gainesville is set to meet TCC in the state semifinals if they both win out. Wow. Okay. I got to tell you, these are the dream matchups that we want. Let me write this down. I may have to write something on this. TCC and Gainesville set to meet in the state semifinal if they both went out. Got to be honest with you. These are exactly what we're looking for, the matchups. TCC and Gainesville. All right. And that would be in the semifinals, right, Darius? Okay, that's what we want to see. Reggie, what's up, Reggie? Camden lost to Lounge. Yep, we've been talking about that. Reggie, you okay with me disclosing who you are? I don't know if you want to keep that confidential or not. Reggie is not just a Camden fan; he's a Camden dad. So I like to ask to make sure he's okay before I start running my mouth. GoDog65 says, I prefer class polls. There's way too many factors in ranking across classifications. Just my opinion. You're right. That's a great that's a great answer. And I agree. I really do agree with you. But this is kind of what we are. This is kind of what we're going with right now. It's our top 25 all classification poll. We do hope you guys like it. Not saying we're married to it, but probably going to finish out the year with it that way. But we'll see. We'll see. Danny Jones gives his 2 cents on. Says the top 25 rankings will show who is most dominant and those who are in the hunt to make the top 10. I like that. Mike Sorensen, lots of the fine folks born and raised in the Chula area for sure. No doubt, brother. No doubt. Love me some Chula. Wayne Roberts. Rumors are Thomas County Central and Colquitt County set to clash in regular season next year. Yeah, and I keep forgetting to ask Sean Calhoun in our weekly coaches show if that is indeed on the table. I need to write that down so we don't forget again, because I don't like to forget. Ask Coach Calhoun. All right. So ask him about match with TCC. That would be something else, wouldn't it? Unbelievable. I want to see. All right, so we're talking about in 6A. I want to see. I want to see Grayson and Buford. Darius, when will Grayson and Buford play in 6A? Guys, I tell you the team. How about Valdosta and Buford? Is Valdosta ready for Buford yet? The last 2 years we've seen Grayson or Valdosta season end at the hands of Carrollton. So, do we feel like Valdosta is ready to play big enough, big boy football and go up against all these other teams? Would you like to see Valdosta taking on Grayson, Buford? Yeah, I don't know. There are some dream matchups that we would love to see. Mike Sorensen says, blame it on the rain that was slowly falling. Yep, blame it on the rain tonight. I hear you, buddy. Justin King, what was the coincidence? What was the coincidence? Was he left the same year the the last class that he played for Nobles graduated? I'm not sure what you're saying there, Justin. All right, check it out in the comments. Tift's quarterback is Dixon, but he's small. So last year we called the ITG next game of the week was Colquitt Tift at Tift. And Dixon looked really good last year running the Tift County offense. I just don't know how they have regressed. I mean, you had Kamari Holloman coming back. You had Dixon was going to be another year older, more mature, and I just don't know where they fell off. I don't get it. I really don't. All right, Bernard Dunnan is explaining about the coach. He coached a lot of our DLS kids for years. He's very loved and respected by everyone in Fitzgerald. Go Kane. I got you. Talking about the coach who we were trying to make sure we acknowledge. Calvin McGirt. Calvin, what's going on? Calvin says Appling County 29, Chris 27, according to Max Prost. Calvin, we're already on it, man. You're late to the party, brother. Yeah, we had again the beauty of this show. We had folks calling in and were telling us that indeed you had Appling County defeating Chris County. Hey, what a great job though by Justin Newman and Chris County to battle back. They were down 22 to nothing in that game, so they actually outscored Appling the rest of the way, 27-7, right? But they lose because they had gotten in such a big hole. All right, let's take a look at some things here. Bear with me, guys. Okay, so all right, bear with me here a second. Rosser Sutherland just got home from Northcutt. How about Marietta? Boy, they're making a comeback, aren't they? Don't call it a comeback. Been there for years. Marietta defeats North Cobb 36-35 to take control of the region. North Cobb led 35-17 after 3 quarters. Wow, really? By the way, Phil, that's an awful hat you're Ross, I wasn't even thinking. Hey, Rosser, look, you see that? Listen, Cameron Duke needs to send me some swag. I got this after the coaches show this past week. I got this hat, I got this pullover, and I got a nice shirt, a Nike uh, dry fit shirt from Kareem Reed and the fine folks at McEachern High School's football program. Thank you for that, Coach Reed. Really do appreciate you. Sorry, Rosser, man. Hey, listen, I would love to get some swag from Marietta. Would love to. So let's see if we can make that happen. And I am very appreciative of all the stuff that I get like this. The coaches, they love me to, because I promise them I will wear it. I'll talk about it. Talk about their program. So here I am wearing the McEachern hat. Great people up there. We went up there last year to do our RTG next game of the week and just could not have asked for better folks to work with. All right, so that's a big win without a doubt, for sure, and four score and 7 years ago. Stephen K. Wynn, what's your reservation about Langston Hughes? Well, none really now. I mean, I just and Darius Kirksey kind of got on me, this year. Before the year, I just saw that. Okay, it's like Irwin County. Okay, what I usually do when I'm doing my preseason poll, I'll look and see all the teams, how many key seniors they lost. Not just seniors, but how many key starters, contributors did they lose? And I saw where Irwin didn't have a lot coming back. I saw where Fitzgerald didn't have a lot coming back. I saw where, um, you know, all these different teams that didn't have a lot of players coming back. Hughes was one of them. Now, Hughes had some key pieces, but overall, they were losing a lot of talent. Okay. So I thought, I got to wait and see how they look. Then they played the spring game. They come down and play it at Tiff's, and Tiff's pretty much took them to the woodshed. I get it. I understand it's a spring game, but those combination of things led me to believe that hey, this may not be the best of years for Hughes. So I was not that high on them to begin with. Now I didn't say they were going to be, they weren't going to do anything. I didn't say that either. I just thought that this may be a little bit of a rebuilding year for Langston Hughes. That's all. Well, as it's turned out to be, that really has not been the case. So that to answer your question, Stephen, that was why I was a little bit cool on Hughes. But I'm warming up. I tell you that they look every bit the part of like they did, last year, the year before. I mean, John Cox, when you rank a top 25 and put a single A team ranked above 5 and 6 teams, it makes that poll less believable. Why is that? Why is that? See, I don't understand that rationale. Um, so you're telling me that single A teams don't have the same quality of players that higher classifications do? See, that makes no sense. None. Worth County is what 7-0, and they are waxing opponents right now. I mean, it has nothing to do with how many A's are in front of the school, John. With all due respect. So, yeah, I mean, so what if it's a 1A team? I would put Bowden, and I don't know. I mean, Bowden has struggled a little bit, but let's take Rich Finley's Bowden Red Devils the last 2 years. Let's take Carver this year, last year. I would put those teams up against anybody. Okay? Anybody. 5A, 6A, 7A, does not matter. I would put those teams up against anybody. So, trying to answer your question, John, it don't matter to me, about how many A's a team has in front of their name. So that's my answer, John. But I appreciate your question. Darius Kirksey, Grayson Buford will be the state championship game. How about that? They are on opposite sides if they win out. Wow, boy, wouldn't that be a treat? What do you guys think? Grayson and Buford. I've been saying this Grayson, Buford's got the team, I think, every year. They got it every year to win. They got enough talent, does Buford, to win it all. It's a matter of getting it done. And I think this might be the year for Grayson. All right, 11:48 on this Friday night. Last week we went a little long, and I really don't mind doing that again tonight if you guys want to hang around for a little while. It does not bother me a bit. Larry Godwin, where you at, Larry? Larry would love to talk to you, man. Where you at, LG? Where's LG at? LG, if you are on your making your way back, would love to chat with you. I'm just pulling up the show on my phone so I can take a look at it. All right, what's up, guys? Here we go. Let me bring this in here. By the way, how about Ashley Henderson? Have you guys kept up with y'all know Ashley Henderson? Okay. Ashley Henderson, Blake Henderson. Hold on a second. I'm in a Flint Dykes is checking in. What's up, Flint? Flint, Flint. I'm doing it by myself, man. What's up? I love it. All right. So Flint, were you at a game tonight, my man? Flint and I will be back at it Monday morning with the coaches shows. John M. Cox. So you're telling me that Worth County would beat Colquitt, Lowndes, and Valdosta? Well, I don't know that they would, but they deserve to be highly ranked because they're undefeated. They've got they've got several Division One guys. Um, they're on their way to a state championship. So I guess I'll turn that around, John. I mean, if they win a state title, do they deserve to be ranked lower than teams that don't win a state title? So I can ask that a couple of different ways. Calvin McGirt on Richmond Hill's first two possessions, the Cats intercepted passes for touchdowns. Oh wow, that's not a good way to start. Two pick sixes. Look, Calvin, you know this. I'm sure everybody knows this that keeps up and knows football. Pick six is one of the biggest momentum changing plays in a game, right? And if you've got two pick sixes, and Calvin, if I'm looking at your comment right, Richmond Hill's first two possessions, the Cats intercepted passes for touchdowns and led 13-0. Yeah, if you're throwing two pick sixes, talking about Richmond Hill, oh, that's tough to come back from. Again, there are big time plays that swing the momentum in a game. Kick return, punt return, and a pick six. Those are the plays that will totally change the course, change the momentum, change the dynamic of a football game. So Calvin, I think Alan Clanton maybe had told me that earlier too. Man, that's tough. That's hard to come back from. And I'm not talking about the 13-point deficit. I'm talking about the momentum swing. That's a dagger, man. That's a dagger to the soul. Do you guys know Richmond Hill? The the win at Tift County, which was their region opener. That was the first region road win for Richmond Hill since they joined this region. Think about what I just said. When Richmond Hill joined this region back in, what was it, 2021? 2021, 22? Anyway, the early 2020s, Richmond Hill joins Region 1. I think it was 7A when they joined. Still, they joined in the state's largest classification, Region 1. Put it that way. And when they won, it took whatever, 21, 22, 23, 24, and now 25. It took Richmond Hill that long before they won their first road region game. And that was at Tift a couple of weeks ago. That was their first region road victory. And Richmond Hill, in beating Camden last week, that was the first time they had beaten their neighbor over there in Kingsland. It was the first time they had beaten Camden County, period. So I just want to say that despite what happened tonight at Valdosta, that's a bad loss, for Richmond Hill. But they have already made strides. As Matt Lozada told me, he had already checked off two boxes off their bucket list. That was off their bucket list. It's gone. So mission accomplished. So don't let the loss against Valdosta be bigger than what it seems. Okay, because it's still, it's a loss. It's your first region loss of the year, Doesn't matter if it was 28-0 or 20-0 or 6-0. Doesn't matter. A loss is a loss is a loss. It looks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's a duck. All right. Anyway, you get my point. Blake Henderson, go Canes, Phil. We did it for Coach Boogie tonight. Go Canes. Yeah, a lot of tributes to Coach Boogie. By the way, I'd asked earlier for a little bit of information and got it. Mayretta is in the house. What's up, Tayretta? Marietta. What's up, Phil? Marietta Blue Devils are in the house, unbeaten in region play. I know it. My man Roster Sutherland was giving me the update earlier. Oh, boy. I love it, man. I love it. I tell you, great job by Coach Cameron Duke and Marietta. Great job. All right, guys, we are 11:56, so we're getting toward the end here. Another great night. And again, man, you guys got any final questions? Would love to answer anything that you guys may be on your mind. Taylor Marietta, man, listen, you got to get back in the house a lot more here, man. You got to get back on the show a lot more. I love it. Diana Margarita Hughes, nurse, you need one more name. Reach out to True Blue to send some swag. Yes. I would love to wear some Marietta Blue Devil swag. Please. Diana Margarita Hughes. Yeah, y'all want to get this this McEachern, which listen, I love McEachern now. Not gonna lie to you. And by the way, roster and y'all, let's see if we can get a Cameron Duke coaches show next year. I'm going to be completely honest with you. You know, we have to have a sponsor for the show. That's it. We have to have a sponsor for it. I mean, we're a business like anybody else. Okay. And if anybody wants to talk to me about that, you know, we would love to have, you know, a coaches show we can do, you know, with Marietta. Look, if we can find a sponsor, we'll find. I did 13 coaches shows 2 years ago. So I can do them. It's not a problem. Do like 6 one day, 7 the next. So it's not a problem with me. I can do as many as we need to do. But we got to have sponsors for it, okay? But in the meantime, I would love to have some swag, man. Some Marietta Blue Devil swag. Absolutely, it would be my honor to wear this stuff. Tayretta Marietta, man, I'm so glad I got to talk to you, man, before we got out of here tonight. Absolutely. All right, guys, just some final thoughts. Again, I do want to mention this real quick. So Jay Lamar, okay, we had reported that he was got off the team. We were actually the first one to know. I did not report it, again, out of respect to Sean Calhoun. He had asked me not to say anything, so I didn't say anything. Sean Calhoun says, hey, I'd really like for you to keep it under your hat. I did. Now, there were some reports yesterday by Dogs HQ that they had heard that he had come back to the team. I reached out to Coach Calhoun, did not hear anything. But again, unless Jay Lamar played tonight, he is no longer on the team, and I don't think he's coming back. So these comments about Jay Lamar being back on the team are factually incorrect. Or again, the reason I bring that up, you know, we had a couple of people yesterday who checked in on Facebook, saw where I had reported that Jay Lamar was off the team, and said, well, wait a minute, you got some thought guys on, you know, Dogs HQ, the chat board, whatever, saying that he's back. Well, no, he's not. So I guess what the moral of the story is, again, you know, we have our finger on the pulse of what's happening in football across the entire state of Georgia about as well as anybody does. Okay. So Matt DeBuck, what's up, Matt? Coach DeBuck. Coach DeBuck has made it in just under the wire. What's up, brother? How did y'all do tonight? Did y'all play tonight, Coach DeBuck? Let's go, Phil. I need a new hat. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, to what do we owe thee? Matt DeBuck has joined us. John Cox, if Jay Lamar was back on the team, there was no sign of that tonight. We were there. Okay, thank you, John. I appreciate the confirmation on that. Yeah, so again, we were the first to know about this, and I'll tell you why. We were going to do this big story, be right up on Jay Lamar. We were going to go down and interview Jay Lamar, and we were told, hey, don't come down. That was the week after, I guess, the Lowndes game. And that's when I knew what had happened. So we were the first to know. And again, that's what relationships do. They afford you the opportunity to get, the news for anybody else. But at the same time, because of that great relationship we have with Colquitt County and Sean Calhoun, we decided we're not going to put anything out. Coach Calhoun didn't want anything out this week of the Valdosta game. He didn't want the distraction. We agreed. So, we took one for the team, so to speak. Whereas we could have been the very first anywhere to have broken that story. But again, keeping your relationships, keeping good relationships, that means a lot. That means everything. So we'll take that road before we try to go with breaking news. Okay. Matt DeBuck, 48-7. I'm hoping that's a win, Coach DeBuck. Coach, in case y'all don't know, Matt DeBuck is in the house. He is the head coach of the Fort Lauderdale Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs. I think 2-time or 3-time state champion. Which is it, Matt? The guy is a heck of a coach. He's one of the best offensive minds in all of high school football. He's a great coach. He's a great friend. I am blessed to know the guy. Leroy Kinsey says, yes, he's back on the team. Well, that's interesting. Matt DeBuck, 3-time state champion. Matt DeBuck, king of the air raid. Matt DeBuck had a game a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I think he threw it or he ran it less than 10 times. That's my boy, let me tell you. That's air raid. Hey, who needs to run the football when you can sling it around? I love it. Leroy Kinsey, so do you know this for sure? Because you got some other Colquitt County fans who were saying, hey, he wasn't on the field tonight. So inquiring minds want to know. All right, guys, final thoughts. Yeah, Matt DeBuck. John Cox says, congratulations, Coach DeBuck. Guys, y'all get to know Coach Matt DeBuck. This guy can coach football. Let's see if we can get him up to Georgia to get one of these jobs that's come open. The guy would be an absolute. Listen, you got 3 state championships under your belt. Not 1, not 2, but 3. Tres. Guy's a heck of a ball coach. We need to get him up to Georgia. So you guys help me out with that campaign. John, thanks for all you do, buddy. I appreciate the camaraderie and getting to know you, John. Good old back and forth. Yeah, we're going to agree to disagree on the Worth County thing. I get it, and I'm catching a lot of heat for it. I get it, but that's all right. I'm a big boy. I got thick skin. But thank you, John. Let's see if we can stay on this Jay Lamar thing, man, and see what's going on there. All right, who else we got in the house, man? Looks like we got Coach DeBuck, me. Only the diehards here have taken us into Saturday morning. Any other? Just some final thoughts here before we get out of here. So again, big win for Valdosta. They reestablished themselves at the top of Region 1-6A. Matt DeBuck, Phil is the man. Nope. You are the man. Yeah, stop that. Yes. Just stop that. Um, yep. The Valdosta big win tonight. Big shutout went 41 to nothing. So Valdosta does reestablish itself at the top of Region 1-6A. So the loss to Colquitt, again, there was a lot of self-imposed penalties, mistakes, this and that. So yeah, that's just one that, you know what? It's let's flush it and move on if you're a Valdosta fan. Lowndes continues to impress. They go over to the coast tonight. They go over to Kingsland and get a big win over Camden County. And by the way, I do want to ask. I love Coach Coffee. I love Travis Rowland. Stephen Tate finally made it in. What's up, brother? Stephen Tate, did Coffee play tonight? Um, so let me ask you guys this. Um, Russell Sutherland, real quick. Hillgrove over Campbell, 54 to nothing. Yeah, you know what? You're right, Russell Sutherland. I was looking at that. All those shutouts that Hillgrove has had. That's a team, the Hillgrove Hawks, known for their offense, but by God, their defense. I wrote about that because they are in next week's Pick Six. I've got them in the McEachern, the McEachern game. You'll never guess who I picked to win, by the way. I'm getting some breaking news here. Breaking news. Okay. Some breaking news here. Some breaking news here. All right, I'm going to sit on it. I want to make sure I can confirm this with my source. But I've got some breaking news. I'm not going to tell it now. You guys can go to ITG Next. We'll have something on this Monday night. This breaking news I'm talking about. It's huge. It's big time. And I'm going to leave it at that. So I hate to keep you guys in suspense, but I got to just double check some things. But this is why ITG Next is on the front end of bringing you guys the most up-to-date breaking news when it comes to high school sports. John, I'm sorry, man. I can't do it. I can't do it. I probably shouldn't have said anything, John. All right, guys. Old voice is giving out. Been talking nonstop since about 9:30. Stephen Tate. That's too far away, Phil. I'll tell you what, I'll give some of you guys some one-on-one calls and let you know what's going on. But breaking news, as it has to do with a key player. But anyway, guys, hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to hit the site, man. Get ready for work. I'll be working all weekend. Don't forget, ITG Next. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. Be sure to check us out, ITG Next Georgia, as we'll have your top 25 updated, top 25 poll. Top performers, by the way, guys, send me any top performers you guys have got, Georgia players. I need the name, exact stats, whether it's quarterback, kicker, special team, any kind of top performer I would love to have for our weekly top performers list this week. All right, guys. Until Monday night, we hope to see y'all at 5:30. Hope you have a great weekend. Thanks so much for joining the show tonight. We had a blast, guys. See you. Jim Blair says, "Go Dogs." I hear you. Matt DeBuck, breaking news. Time for some hot tea. Yeah, definitely that. What's up?